Hello, everybody. My name is Ashish Joseph, and welcome to the first episode of Inside World, where we talk about a couple of growth strategies and marketing strategies as well, with a couple of different personalities from the industry and their trade secrets that have worked well for them to capture their target audience, and also making sure that investment to their content is actually lead towards the end of the day. So, joining me for this first episode is my good friend, Mr. Kev, all the way from Chennai. How are you, Kev?
I'm doing great, man. As you can see, I'm dancing.
Wow, that's awesome. So Kevin and I go way back to 2018. I think the first time I actually met Kev was in the Sci Festival where we played together. And from there, it was just like a journey. And Kev actually won the Voice of Chennai 2019 hosted by Chennai Live, the season 3 winner. And from there, Kevin has been a major personality in the Chennai music scene. And in terms of my eyes, I think he's one of the most hardworking musicians that I've seen in the scene till now. But Kevin, thanks for joining to this entire series. When I'm looking at your content, you've released a lot of music and different strategies, and I just want to talk about on your entire strategic plan on how you've released your content and such. When I'm actually looking at your portfolio, I can see that you've not just invested your time in music, but you've actually ventured into different things that are out there. So in terms of that, I just want to ask you why, man. Like, why did you choose to diversify your content?
Okay, I think art it's very for me getting sidelined into this one particular category. I feel uncomfortable being sidelined as that. Like say one of the things that I've noticed with musicians is if this is the particular musician, that musician is this genre. You just sideline that person into that particular category. So I've never been too comfortable putting myself into that box. So, like, one of the ways I thought it'll break that kind of a thought process would be to venture into other, styles of work. So, it's not just music, it'll be other forms of art as well. Even though I can't make films, I'm really passionate about films. So, how can I find my own little way of, trying to emulate or trying to create something that is film-like? That's the way I look at it, like other forms of content. And if it's something that is a sketch that is comic based sketch, I like in implementing certain ideas or certain concepts which can't be put in songs. I'd like it to be put in other formats, and that's where I give other sides or the other facets of me as an artist a shot. I won't say I'm particularly good at those. It's just something that will not, put me in that one particular box saying, yeah, you're just this. So this is just one of the ways.
I think you have a great podcast. You should go to that, and it's a different genre altogether. You have a YouTube channel where you review independent artists, and I think that's phenomenal in terms of how you're trying to promote them in a different platform altogether. And that monthly review of artists on a podcast. And it's crazy, I think when you analyze it from a strategic standpoint, what I'm looking at over here is it's pretty hard for people to find you related to music in the first go itself. Sometimes the podcast that you put would be something that brings people to your actual content that you're actually good at. So, for example, you said that there are different facets of you, and you don't like to be boxed at a particular thing. And I think when I'm actually looking at it, when you diversify yourself to different content, it gives you a possibility of reach to different facets of audience. And from there, I think your end goal would be to bring more audience to the type of music that you make. Am I right?
Yeah, of course. That's the idea. The end goal is to for people to discover me in various things.
Awesome.
I guess it.
Yeah. So, in terms of the diversified content that you've created, in your experience, what content sells the highest apart from your music? Like from I think you've been doing this for the past 1 year, especially lockdown has intensified the creation of these contents. Frequently. So I just want to understand, when you're looking at the analytical standpoint of how people are looking at it, what is the engagement rate of these things? What are your analysis out of it?
You want me to be honest?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, it's always stuff that is in in the what do you call that? The news circle at that point of time. So, um, like I was supposed to make a video of me reviewing Ariana Grande's album called Positions. I didn't put it out. Now putting out a video of it won't help. But at the same time, I put out the review of.
I hate for the Taylor Swift album. Right?
Oh yeah, dude, I do. I still get it, and I think that's the best thing ever because I got to make two different variety of content out of that one particular video, and I know for a fact that it's not about bringing in an audience. It's just that particular video tends to keep pushing to other people. Even though it's receiving negative comments and it's giving more dislikes and stuff, it's reaching, the fact that that video is reaching other people is surprising for me.
But what is in my mind on this, people say that there's no such thing as negative publicity.
Yeah.
So I think as long as you're engaging with them on a regular basis, your engagement rate on your channel or whatever platform that you're using increases. And that kind of tricks the algorithm to the audience saying like, hey, did you know that there's a hot topic over there that you need to listen to, and how is dissing off a couple of Taylor Swift fans. So I think because of that, yeah. So like you said, right, once people get to know that something is happening, it opens up your type of other content to them to say, oh, who is Mr. Kev in the first place? Like, who is this guy to diss off Taylor Swift? Like, does he make music? Oh, he does make music. Oh, this Detox is not bad. I'm getting kho gaya. but yeah, man. So apart from this Taylor Swift review that you did, what other videos?
It's mostly covers that do well, dude. Unfortunately, even though I hate the fact that covers tend to do well. Covers are the ones that perform much better than my average videos, and I've actively been trying to stay away from covers as much as I can. So if you've seen the content that I've put out this past 1 year, it will be there'll be like a 1:3 ratio or 1:4 ratio. For every one cover, I would have put out 3 or 4 other videos that are not covers. So at least I've tried to maintain that. But the sad truth is that covers tend to do really well.
So I think, when I'm looking at my music, like, one thing that I hate is I hate playing music for others. Like, I play music for myself. Because I like to write a couple of songs that are very personal for me, and I've not released those songs because those are personal things that I want to keep to myself.
Mm-hmm.
But if you actually want to capitalize the market, that existing demography, let's say in Chennai or Bangalore or Delhi, and if they want to know who you are, you have to play some songs that they know. Like, oh, I know this song. I can sing well to this guy. Oh, that's nice. I can relate to him. So if that relatability factor is not there, then I guess that's where there is a huge gap. When you look at people who are established in the industry with their originals, they started off with their cover songs, so that relatability factor to the audience is established first. And then they understood, okay, this is my vibe, and then they open the doors to their original. I think your strategy having one cover to 3 originals, I think that's a beautiful one. But I think people will eventually get in because, as long as you build a content community, like if your content is robust, that's the first step of everything. I think you're doing a brilliant job in terms of that. Coming to, the second part of it, I was actually going through a discography in Spotify, and there are 2 types in which you've actually released your content in the first place. So when I was looking at Dummy Love and Detox Overdose, the entire EP of these 5 songs, you released this back in 2019. And I think I've seen all these songs in different parts, in different shows that you've played. And after that, you've kind of stopped doing this EP business. You've started releasing singles on a periodic basis. So could you just tell me a couple of facts that you've learned of releasing songs as an EP or releasing songs? What is the biggest learnings that you've got from both these type of releases?
So one thing is when I released the EP, it was only I released the EP last. It's going to hit 1 year now. Like it's December 31st that I released the EP. So it will. It gave me a certain kind of a light for, I mean, or a certain level of exposure for about 1 week or 2 weeks, if I stretch it. And I started making content around the promoting that particular EP. I've done like after 2 months, right? Like in Feb, I think I released a video as well. I sent it out on like WhatsApp forward. I put out a video, say like, which is you've seen those motivational videos. I put one of those motivational videos where I say you are important to me, and your growth is my growth, and the only way you can grow is if you go listen to Mr. Kev. Some bullshit, like absolute nonsense, but that again gave me some kind of like a group of people who started checking out my content from that one particular video. They saw that video and then they were like, what the fuck is this? I want to check it out. And they actually went and checked it out. But yeah, those are the only 2 times I got an exposure for that particular album. And reaching out to conventional styles of like, or conventional agencies that kind of push music, right? Let's say, for example, Rolling Stones. There are ways you can reach out to them. There are I think 2 or 3 people who you can reach out to, and of course set your business there or whatever. The problem again is you will still revolve around one particular circle, and breaking that circle is still something that I'm trying to work on. Breaking out of the music circle or the indie music circle. So I realized if you release an album or EP or whatever, and that was an EP of like 5 songs, so you will get only a reach for about 1 or 2 weeks max. Even if I do my best to push, it will not give me plays or listens beyond that. But at the same time, what I noticed was when we did this quarantine, when we got down with all the songs, like me and this guy, Anand and Sajan, we were sitting and talking about this. We were like, why not? We were actually planning on, releasing one video every month. So we had music videos planned. So one of the first problems we faced was, where do we release the album first and then start releasing videos separately one by one every month? Then we went around the idea that, okay, let's actually release one song every month. So it will give this good gap between songs. At the same time, release the video. Now, shooting the video has been a trouble for us because of the pandemic. So we only managed to release 2 videos as of now. There are still other planned. There are other 3 planned music videos we still haven't done. So those 3 music videos we are still working on. So the idea was that we release and give some space, and in the 5th month, we drop the entire album. During the process of releasing these songs every month, we realized that if we drop an album again, we are not going to get the kind of listens that we are getting right now, or like the kind of reach that we are getting right now. Like the amount of push that I get when I release one particular song on one particular day is for a particular month is more than I would if I was releasing 10 songs on that particular day. For those 10 songs to reach 10 different people, it's easier when it's 10 released across several months or several weeks or whatever. So the best gap that we found was like a month's time, because in that 1 month we could do so many other alternate content that will support this particular music video. That was the initial idea, but right now I think we are all way too busy to, I've started working. I moved on from being an indie musician to full-time work. So obviously, I'm not able to make the alternate content for the music video or like for the songs. Otherwise, I usually have this thing called Stupid Genius, okay, which is one of the things that we initially planned was we do a Stupid Genius episode for every song, every single that we release. So we'll have two kinds of exposure. In that 1 month, let's say if you're releasing a song right now, November, we are supposed to release a song this month. This month end, we'll release one. So we're done with that song. So let's say we release it on 26th, right? So 26th for 1 week, we'll have some exposure for that song. Then 1 week later, 1.5 weeks later, we release the music video. And then we release another video, like a Stupid Genius video on the 12th of December. So you're spanning that one song out with various content. Like the first content is the song. Second content is the video, music video. And the third content is this breaking lyrics, like just an acoustic version of the song. This was something that we initially planned on doing, but like what ended up happening is I didn't have the time. Like I was working, so this all like the side content that I was supposed to create, I was not able to finish up on. But for 2 videos, we managed to do that. So the idea is to
strategy, man. Like I think what people should understand over here is, I think when you have periodically released content, the chance of one person seeing that content at that particular time is very less. So when you're supporting different types of content that direct your content to the main one, for example, just breaking down your lyrics of your video and then making a video on top of that, behind the scenes kind of stuff. So all of these, when people look at, oh, there was a release that happened like a couple of days back, like I should just check it out. And when you're releasing it on a periodic basis, it helps them introduce themselves with an entire crowd, because I do this entire curation of survives on a week-to-week basis, right? Like where I curate a particular playlist that I've been doing. So one trend that I have seen is when an artist is releasing a particular EP, I don't listen to all of their songs. I just listen to some of the songs that have the highest plays that are over there. So when I was like looking at your content, it's very true. Like even if you're a big shot or just coming into the industry, no matter how you're releasing, nobody listens to your entire set of songs. It's just something that comes into their eye. So in terms of releasing an EP, the chance of them listening to all of your songs are very less. But if they are actually doing your strategy in terms of releasing it on a periodic basis, they have some kind of a chance to actually stumble upon your content from time to time, so that you don't get screwed by the algorithm towards the end of the day.
Yeah,
makes sense. But yeah, anyway, so
there's one more thing, this kind of alternate content. I realized, where I have a song called Teri Jadoo.
Okay.
Do you know what the song is?
Yeah, I think I've heard you sing that song before, actually. Yeah.
I've not really sung that song. It's just one. It's just the song. We released the song and I put out a music video for it and stuff. Okay. And for a week, we never said anything about the song. Nobody knew what it was. 1 month back, I had asked my Instagram people, what kind of, I'm making a Frankenstein of a song. So give me Hindi Bollywood tracks that you like. Okay. They suggested like so many songs. I picked out 10 songs and started picking lyrics amongst these songs.
And then you made a song out of it. Yeah, I remember that. You shot this on a terrace or something, right?
Yeah. That particular song was me taking a dig at T-Series on how T-Series makes songs. And that entire video was about how I made a song about T-Series. And so, like, my whole content, like, even the songs that I write, the songs that I wrote for the Quarantino songs, the songs that I've released, they all have a reason. be like they have like an intent. So the intent for each song is always there. Like for example, Mediocre Man was written because people were consistently asking me, how can you rap? Can you rap? Can you rap? Just because Ed Sheeran can rap, Justin Bieber can rap, they were expecting me to rap. So like this is my way of writing a song that counters that whole scene. And why not make a video of the backstory and then release it once the song is out? It'll give more value to the like. Or again, if people are interested in what I'm saying, they'll probably be interested in the song, and that's why how. So it started with Teri Jadoo. Actually speaking, it the concept doesn't come from Quarantino. Like it came from what we noticed in Teri.
Not bad, man. So, Kevin, so just thank you for taking the time for talking about different things that have worked for you. Can you just tell me what's in the future for your works? Like, what can we expect from you in the future? Like, in the near future and the distant future, what are you planning?
Quarantino is still going to keep coming. Like I think it's one thing that is not ending at this point of time because I just have more songs that I have yet to release. So we are still debating on whether we should put the rest of it as an album or. Huh?
How many songs
Sorry?
from Quarantino? How many total songs in the Quarantino?
I think last I counted we had 12 songs and only 6 songs are out. So we are set for another 6 months. Huh?
Being another version of an Indian Taylor Swift, I think 21 songs for one album may not be that bad,
right? Maybe. Maybe. So we are thinking like other than this, we'll start doing other content as well. Like right now, me and Sajjan, we are trying to work on various like variety of content for YouTube itself. Like we already started with the independent, right? Where we cover an independent artist, their work, and then I do a cover of it, cover of one of their songs. I mean, we've not had time to sit with our work for quite some time now. I haven't touched the guitar in like months now. Like it just feels like it.
Live every other day, do it.
Which one?
Recording, okay, cool.
Yeah. For recording, I haven't like the only time you see me touch the guitar is when I come on the live, most probably. But seriously, because I either sit on editing videos or I'm shooting a video. One or the other thing is always has me preoccupied. So I mean, right now I'm trying to take a back seat, just like sit down, relax a little, and then get back to the jig again. So one of the things that we are trying to create is this situation where we'll have free flowing content, like you at least some sort of like a structure we'll have. Like if it's this month, you'll have one original, at the same time one cover of an indie artist, and at the same time one episode of independent and some other alternate content. So that is the idea. I tested out whether I can consistently put out videos. It is possible, but at the cost of my sleep. So
for that, man, I think for you, you put the effort in to actually make things happen. So,
hey, thanks.
Proud out with you. But Kevin, thank you so much for being my first ever episode of Inside the World. It was amazing to have you.
I'm glad to be your first, Ashish.
Make a song, man. Make a song. First time I Inside the World. But yeah, man.
Feels like the first time.
But all the best for your future. I hope to have a conversation with you again after this quarantine becomes a thing.